Hey folks, well, the Leafs returned home from a pretty nice road trip, and they looked a little flat versus those Kings. We're going to break it all down for you right here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach. We love you, KD. I'm the Devo. We're here to talk all things Leafs. Look, I'm coming to you from downtown Toronto, from the HQ of the OZ. Coach, where you at?
International headquarters today here in London, Devo. Hey, get this. It's raining. I know. Who would have thought? Yeah. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good here. It's Halloween's over, so big drop in temperature. It's starting to get a little bit cool. We'll start charting things, I think, a little bit closer to zero as we get closer to Christmas. But anyways, folks, you know the drill. Hit subscribe, ring the bell. You'll never miss any content. You don't want to miss any content here. Like, share the video. Spreads the word. And you know what? Leave us a comment. It always helps. Helps us get better. We love to hear from our subscribers. Anyways, the Leafs returned home from a pretty decent road trip. 5-game road trip. They took 7 to 10 points, I think, against some pretty stout competition too. The Kings rolled into town, a bit high flying. These Kings, a lot of offense for a team full of defensive forwards, and they kind of shut us down in those Mr. Magoo silver helmets of theirs. Toronto's offense was held in check, really. Had a bit of a late push. I think Keefe mixed and matched the lines up a little bit more in the third period. But it was a little bit too late. Coach, what do you make of these Leafs right now?
Look, what do you make of this stash? Hey, Movember.
Something.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got a picture of myself up in the post office, most wanted with this thing. So those helmets are shiny, aren't they? I was watching that game. It's for the similar reason. I wear a hat on this thing because I don't want it to be too shiny. So, but hey, before I answer your question about Leafs goings on and stuff, I got to hand it to our subscriber base, Devo. These guys are sharp. We got some comments after the last one. I put up this picture here of Dexter Watson, Carbuzzi Hall of Famer. Hey, there's a couple of Easter eggs in this. Look at that top left. There's the Devo in the background. And then the guy, what do you call that? What do the kids call that? Photo bombing? That's my brother. He's sticking his nose in there. That was pretty funny. I didn't see that, but our subscribers caught it, so good for you guys.
It was a shiny day.
Yeah, that's right. Normally I gotta, use a little baby powder to take the sheen off. But hey, so look, the Kings are a big, heavy team. They even said it on the broadcast. Oh, by the way, so I'm now getting the home games. So I get Sportsnet or TSN. Or when I was in Dallas, a lot of times I get the US feed, right? Mm-hmm. TSN, I don't enjoy that broadcast, Devo. I like the old dog, the other two guys, I don't know. Anyway, so it was on TSN. But they mentioned on that broadcast how big the Kings were. And they finished all their checks. They play kind of playoff hockey. It's not a good fit versus a team that is supposedly fast and skilled and likes to play on the outside like the Leafs kind of do. Mm-hmm. Not a great matchup for the Leafs. And so they really do a good job of taking the middle of the ice away. The Kings do. Mm-hmm. So, you mentioned this right off the top. In the halfway through the second and into the third, Keefe put Nylander with Matthews and Marner. So they're going all out for goals with that line. Now, if they're not going to produce, then the bottom six has to, right? The bottom six at least has to play even. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. They didn't. And so I want to actually take you through 3 seconds of tape with our fourth line on against the Dano line. So if we look at here's a shot from the side, the traditional camera angle, and you can see there's 8:24 left in the first. It's 1-0. Okay, and it's basically 4-on-4 in this picture. Everything's okay. I'm going to switch to the camera behind the net because I think it shows you a better angle. So here, if you look at what's going on, Noah Gregor had just broken his stick. So he's top right. He's with the orange arrow. He went to get his new stick. His guy is at the point. He's okay. Liljegren is bottom left. There's an arrow there because his guy's off picture. But he's got his guys looking at his guy. He's good. Everyone else is in perfect position. Gio's got his guy in front. Good D position. And on the D side means you're in between your guy and the net. Pontus Holmberg, he's in the purple circle. He's fine. He's got the point man. And Ryan Reaves is the red circle. He's got the no. Everything is good. So if we fast forward a second later, we're just going to focus on Reaves. Okay, puck goes to that guy on the side. That's Liljegren's guy. He's got his guy. Pontus still has his guy. Gio's still battling in front. Hey, Gio does a good job of battling in front. But Reaves is puck watching, and he's lost his guy. He's still okay. There's no way you're getting a pass through all of those people to Dano, right? Well, a half a second later, Dano is not in the picture anymore. What's Reaves doing? He's still watching the puck. Okay, so the guy's going to kind of move towards the net. There's no way he's getting to the net, but Reaves has lost his guy. It's very simple. What he's also lost is deep position. He is not between his guy and the net. No problem, right? Well, here's what happens a half a second later. He's too late to get that guy. Puck's in the net. It's 2-0. Joe Wall has no chance on this. Unfortunately, we put it in the net ourselves on the first one, too. So we're down 2 because of this. Look, I don't want to pour gas on the fire of the online Leafs, nation, half of which hates Ryan Reaves, the other half thinks he's a deterrent. I think he's a deterrent, but he can't play if he's doing stuff like this. The thing about D-zone coverage is you don't have to be skilled and you don't have to be fast. You just have to be good positionally. Justin Hall, Exhibit A, not the fastest guy, not the most skilled guy. Good penalty killer. Why? Because he played his position well. He was always on the D side. So say what you will about Justin Hall, he was good positionally. It was only when he had the puck on his stick that he treated it like a live grenade.
Sure.
But Ryan Reaves, if you want to play, he played 8 minutes last night. That's not sustainable for your fourth line. This is why.
Yes.
The way he's playing in his own end is why. And it's a real problem, Mike. It really is.
Yeah, it is a problem, and I mean, I hate to harp on it because I do this every year when we play certain teams, but there are guys, folks, there are Leaf fans, you're probably subscribers that only watch the Leafs. They don't see any other games, and if you do, you get to see Dano twice a year. And you would think, based on the output of those games, he is the greatest hockey player in the world because he shuts down Matthews and he gets a goal or two against the Leafs. Because he does it no matter what team he's played against. But this is not a 30-goal scorer. He kills the Leafs, and he does it really, really effectively. Matthews had a bunch of shots in the first and second period from out north of the circle because he had a Dano hanging on his back the entire time. And it's really quite impressive, actually. And then for him to be able to match in on a fourth-line matchup and chip in a goal, I mean, it just kills you. You mentioned before, you were talking about Hall, but in general, the penalty kill. The Leafs have enjoyed a pretty decent PK over the last 3 years, usually finishing in the top third of the league. Not so much this year. They've lost some personnel, certainly on the forward side. Engvall, Kerfoot used to log in big minutes there. We had Hall on the back end, as you mentioned before. Is it the personnel that's missing? What is missing from this unit? Because if this team is not going to win 5-on-5, they certainly can't start losing the special teams matchups too, Coach. What's missing here?
Yeah, it's a combination of a lot of things. It is still early, but you're right. So Justin Hall, he played more penalty killing minutes than anybody not just last year, the year before that too. Again, not skilled, doesn't have to be. Takes up a lot of big guy and solid positionally. Gio as well played with him. Again, he's not the fastest guy either. So Gio's still there, but missing Hall and with McCabe out, who is one of the 4 penalty killers on the back end. 2 of those 4, that's a challenge, right? Because here's your options last night. William Lagesson, he was actually okay, but are you going to ask him to kill penalties in the National Hockey League? Of course not. I would put him ahead of John Klingberg, though, who's awful. I mean, he's long, but that's about it, right? He Morgan Riley had to kill penalties last night. Brody is another top 4 guy, so he's still there. So, yes, on the back end, they are weaker from a penalty killing perspective. I actually don't mind it up front as much. You mentioned Engvall. Engvall was a good penalty killer. Like, he was 6'5" every night. But I think the rotation is different. I like Matthews on the penalty kill. I know that may be controversial. Maybe he's going to get hurt. But he's been good and he's been dangerous. He's got good instincts, too. He does a lot of the things that makes Marner a good penalty killer, right? Where they're anticipating where it's going to go. They pick stuff off. And you have to be a little careful with 4 forwards out there. If you're going to get picked off by Matthews, right? He can do something. He's not David Kampf with the puck. So, but here's the difference, though. When now that Matthews killing penalties, it means Marner goes second.
Yeah.
Marner, by any stretch, right, last 3 years, has been the best forward penalty killer. I think we could all agree that.
Yep.
He was playing with Kampf last year, first group. Now he's not, so he can get out with Matthews. Well, he's not playing against the other team's top unit. So if you look at the Nashville game, Ryan O'Reilly had 2 power play goals, right?
Yeah.
Marner and Matthews didn't even get a chance to get out. They scored within the first minute on both those power. So it does have a trickle-down effect. But the last thing I think is Leafs haven't had very good goaltending this year out of Ilya. And Joe Wall was tremendous. He was good last night, but I mean he wasn't like 980 save percentage Joe Wall like he's been. So sometimes your best penalty killer is like Ilya has not been good. He's I think last in the league at high danger chance save percentage. And you get high danger chances on the power play.
That was
He's
his
been
calling
bad.
card
He'll be
last year,
better,
right?
but sometimes you just need a save.
Yeah, he was. That was his calling card last year. He was decent in those spots. So we'll see. We'll see. We talked about Matthews and Marner. On the PK. It gasses them a little bit because they also have to be there for the power play, which has been solid. Thankfully, that's sort of the one part we can agree that has been pretty decent. They've been lighting the lamp. They need to be good because 5-on-5, this group is like sub 50% expected goals, which is not sustainable for the long haul. It was shocking to me to see that first line get dominated for 2 periods by the Danault line. You expect a really good defensive player to come in and match up and just hold them at bay, but they didn't just hold them at bay. They actually created really more chances than the Matthews line did, which I was a bit shocked to see. He's done this before, but 34 was totally bottled up and didn't really look all that dangerous. This 5-on-5 production, coach, is this a concern? Too early? What's your take on it?
Yeah, the Kings kind of flipped the script. Like the Leafs, we've always talked about them being really strong in the top 6 and center depth. It's not the case now. David Kamp's the third line guy. Look at the Kings. Kopitar, and for the first half of the game, Kopitar was matched up, or Matthews and Kopitar played the most against each other. Yep. That's a solid line. Danault's line is a solid line. Pierre-Luc Dubois is their third line center. Like they are good. And Matthews got more of Danault and Dubois as the game went on, but as he started to play more too, didn't matter. They bottled him up. So is it a challenge? Yes. Here's a tweet just from a few minutes ago from Jonas Siegel. The goals for the Leafs this season. If it's not Matthews, Nylander, or Tavares with 18 goals, everyone else combined has 11. It's a challenge. I mean, part of that is roster construction, but part of it is how's the fourth line going to score? They're playing 8 minutes a night.
Yeah.
The third line has David Kampf. It's tough. It is.
They're
tough.
not built to score. Yeah.
Look, Debo. You know what they look like so far? Average. They look average.
Yep.
So if you look at the stats, it bears it out. They're 15th in the league in goals for, 16th in goals against. That's average. Mm-hmm. They're tied for 4th in the division and 8th in the conference. It's average. They're average. However, they were average last year too. So I went back into the archives, checked with our stats guy, and here's where the Leafs stood after the games of Halloween last year. So they were 4-4-2 with 10 points. The alarms were being sounded last year. They're not really this year, but many people were calling for Keefe's head. In fact, one of us on this podcast was. I believe that was me. Because they really underachieved coming out of the gate. And so similarly, if you look at them this year, it's pretty much the same. I mean, look at this. Some of the cast of characters are different year to year. Boston, who saw that last year? Who saw it this year? They're on fire. Boston. They're not going to be caught at this pace. But the Leafs are in the middle of the pack. So it's just okay. Well, here's the thing. They went into November really, challenged, and then they got points in 13 of 14 games. They went 10, 1, and 3, and then came out of it solid second. And look, by the end of November, they were playing Tampa in the first round. They were coming second in the division. Yeah. But so the real question is, do we believe that could happen again? Is that kind of start where you get points in 13 of 14 in November, is that reasonable to expect?
They did it 2 years in a row, because if you remember the year before, remember Campbell went nuts at the end of October and November. He went absolutely crazy. He was if you go back in the Wayback Machine, you even talked about his performance. It was off.
Saves for the
it was unbelievable. But they won't get as many points this year as last year. They only have 12 games in November, so it's not. They would have to run the table, so that's likely not going to happen. But it's also a little bit tighter this year. They do pretty well. They should come out near the top, and that's all really that matters. But
if they don't, right? Let's just say, if they don't, if they have just an okay November, the panic button is pushed, right?
I think if you go into the holiday season and they're middle of the pack, it's we haven't experienced that before, really.
Yeah.
So, and the last time we could say we experienced that was the end of a certain coach's career, really.
That's right. It was late November, and he got fired after the Vegas game. I was at that game.
There you go.
Yeah. And Keefe came in and did give him a jolt, and then they folded against Columbus. Oh,
yeah.
No, but you're right. It just the fact that they've been in the upper echelon for a few years, the fact that the roster is stacked, doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to have a terrific November. I hope it to be the case. But you're right. You go into mid-December and they're sort of 8th in the conference, sort of 4th, 5th in the division still. There's problems.
Absolutely. And we know there's going to be some upstart teams there. I don't think this is how it's going to look at the end. I suspect Montreal will start to fade a little bit.
Yeah.
They've got some difficult injuries that they've had to deal with. Boston, I just don't understand it, so I'm just going to accept it. I didn't understand it last year. I'll just accept it this year. I can't see Detroit dominating the way they've been playing of late, but you never know. And let's remember too, Florida's still under us as well. So they're a team
they
that's
get some
likely
big
gonna be on the
guys
rise.
back here in the next 30 days from injury from that long playoff run. Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I just want to raise it. His name's creeped in a little bit when we were talking about the PK, but Marner. We that Jonas tweet. Talked about Nylander, who's having a decent year. Tavares looks dangerous and he looks fast this year compared to previous seasons. Matthews is Matthews. Marner. Something about him doesn't seem right.
Is it? Yeah, he's not clicking. He had a slow start last year too. Ended up with 99 points, but it's not there for him, is it?
He looks frustrated. He's smacking his stick on the ice, and he's when he did score the other night, he had a goal, but he also had a wide open net that he didn't score on, and he was angry. You like to see that. You like to see the passion, but you also wonder, is there something? There's something up with that guy. I don't know. He seems a little more frustrated, a little bit less happy-go-lucky. Is he feeling the pressure? What's going on?
Do you think it's because he doesn't have Nylander's taken his spot on the power play over on the flank?
Yep.
And Nylander's been good. I mean, we're not complaining about Nylander, which may be a first on this podcast, but he's been terrific. But he's got now that shot. Marner's down low. I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if he doesn't like that. He's always liked that other spot. I don't know. But you're right. He's not there. And he's too good to be off to this kind of start again this year. He'll pick it up soon. He's too good not to.
Yeah, I suspect he probably will. I agree. I agree with you, Coach, as usual. Anyways, there you have it, folks. And look, whether it's a bright silver or shiny or bald head or plush and gorgeous, it doesn't matter. We've got you covered. We got you covered right here, as we always do, on the Ozone.